Albert Breer has claimed that the Browns are still really high on Dillon Gabriel. Let's break it down on this edition of. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's see the clip first, but I want to hear your thoughts because you and I aren't very high on Dillon Gabriel ourselves, and we're going to talk
Correct.
about this more in the next segment as well. But roll the clip first.
Do you have a rookie you're comfortable putting in there in the backup? And I think they are getting there on Dillon Gabriel. Like I don't think they would start him in week one, but I don't think like given like his ability to run the offense, I don't think they would feel uncomfortable putting him in the game in week one, if that makes sense.
That's a wild take.
Listen, man, I I get it from like a macro perspective. I've said this multiple times on the show. I understand the allure of Dylan Gabriel because he's ran so many different offenses in college, because he's done so many great things. He was a Heisman finalist in college. The dude is too short. The dude, we've seen it time and time again where college skill doesn't always exactly translate to the NFL in ways that you would think. Patrick Mahomes was a turnover machine in college. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the path to be the GOAT of football. I don't get it. I don't care at this point if he's killing it in the classroom. I don't care anymore if he's doing this, that, and the other. I know we're going to get into the Eagles and the joint camp, but just a little
Yeah.
teaser of this before the ad break. He was 6 for 19 today. Sure, he had 2 touchdowns on red zone 7-on-7, but 6 for 19. I don't get it. Do you get it?
No, I don't. Sorry, I was trying to bring up the won't won't won't
Mm,
sound effect, but I didn't get it in time. No, I don't get it. We'll talk about it more, like you said, in the topic where we talk Browns Eagles, but he hasn't shown us what maybe we thought he's capable of so far. Like you said, I don't really care how he can read a playbook or how he interacts with coaching staff. If you can't go out there and make the plays, then you can't make the plays. I don't worry about his height insofar as he's 5'11. He's the same height as Russell Wilson. But he doesn't have that playmaking rollout ability that Russ had. I use past tense because that's gone. Uh, so what do we have with Dylan Gabriel? I'm not sure. We haven't seen it yet. That said, I am excited that he gets the opportunity to start on Saturday because let's throw him, I mean, literally to the wolves, considering he's going up against one of the best Ds in the NFL. But let's see what he's made of. Maybe he shines through and we finally see what the coaches are seeing. But so far, man, he should be fourth on the depth chart.
Yeah, I'm not going to muddy the waters into the next topic yet because I'll just go into Dylan Gabriel a little bit more there too. But I agree with what you're saying 100%. I'm glad we're kind of throwing him to the Wolves this week because I want to see what they see in him, apparently. The amount of headlines that are coming out about how much Cleveland loves Dylan Gabriel. And last week we talked a little bit about the trade aspect, or 2 weeks ago, how they had trade offers and all of that. And now I'm sitting here wondering, this isn't on my notes for the show. This isn't anything that I've come up with prior. I wonder if they're trying to get a Dylan Gabriel trade going. And I'm throwing full-blown tinfoil hat on for a second, but we've seen this team do it before where they try to generate value in the trade market.
Yeah,
And I'm not real quick, I'm sorry. I'm not saying this for certain. I probably sound crazy, but they did this with
you
Amari
don't.
Cooper. They did this with Amari Cooper last year. Maybe they got Shador in here. They were like, "Oh damn, we messed up. We might actually have our guy here." I don't know if this is the case. I'm leaning into my own fandom a little bit when I say that. But maybe that's what's going on here is they're trying to get a market for him early so they don't have to worry about moving on from 2 veterans and the guy they want to develop into potentially the guy or just be the developmental quarterback for the next couple years. I
Well,
don't know.
they're moving somebody, and I'll say even if he performs poorly Saturday, I don't think that other teams that are hot on him will cool off either. I mean, it's one preseason game. The kid does need to develop, which, let's just jump right into it. I know you probably want me to take a break, but damn it, it's our show, and the advertisers will get their time when we say they get their time. So let's move to previewing next week, or this Saturday, I should say, because the Browns take on the Eagles at 1 p.m. It's their second preseason game. And as mentioned, heading in, there's a bit of drama at QB. Shador's hurt. He hurt his oblique in practice. It's an ongoing thing, but it's unlikely that he's going to see much, if any, playing time on Saturday because of that. Just out of caution, I don't think that this is a serious injury. Um, I think you have some footage though to show.
Yeah, I'm pulling it right now. You could talk over it, man. It's just background.
Yeah, I mean, you see him grimacing there as he's throwing, specifically, kind of with that. You can't really see an oblique, but you know what that feels like. Um, Hopefully, it's not something lingering, because that will be some of the worst news for Shador and for the Browns, frankly, that we can have. I hope it's just a small thing. But that means that Dillon Gabriel is likely our starter heading into Saturday. As I mentioned during Water Cooler, I think that's a good thing. I think being able to see what he's about, here's your chance, kid. Go out, prove yourself, run the offense. Who knows? If he lights it up more than Shador did, if he goes down on his first drive and looks really good and throws a touchdown, we're having a different conversation on Monday. I don't know that we're going to see that, but he has an opportunity here.
I agree that he has an opportunity here, and I would say that a majority of Cleveland Browns fans agree with us. I threw out this poll on our Twitter account. If you do not follow us on Twitter/X, make sure you check us out at Sign the Office CLE. I said, who's starting Saturday? Not who you want, who you think the Browns will announce as the starter for Saturday's preseason game against the Eagles. Obviously, I posted this yesterday before the injury, but 74% of Browns fans, I believe we had 62 votes. I can't see. I have some technical issues.
Yeah,
Voted.
62 votes, 74% for Gabriel.
Vote. Yeah, they voted for Gabriel, and I'm kind of in the same wavelength. I want Shador to earn it. I don't want them to just hand him the position. Do I think he's talented? Yes, but I'm ready to see Dillon go out there and prove me wrong because I don't understand what some of these NFL coaches or NFL execs or whatever are seeing in this guy, aside from the fact that, yes, he was talented in college, but he doesn't have the physical attributes that apply. And I know I already said that, but it's just like, I don't get it. I do not get it, but I want to see it. Prove me wrong, please, because at the end of the day, I just want a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns that are going to be absolutely fantastic.
How talented was he in college, though? I mean, yes, like you said, Heisman finalist, but he bounced around to a lot of teams and he stayed for a very long time. He's not a young guy.
He's not a young guy. I was going to make that joke too when you said, I want to see what the kid can do. And he's only like 2 months younger than me. So
What
I
the
can't really
grown man can do.
I can't call him a kid either because I'm the same age as him. We're both 24 right now. That being said, I'm curious for a lot of other things other than quarterback, especially now that Shador Sanders is, in my mind, 75 to like 85% not playing. Where would you put it first before we move on to other positions?
I would say 90+%. I don't think he's playing. There's no need to play him. I think that's why you brought in Huntley as well, to have a guy that can eat some minutes. I think Dillon Gabriel will get a bulk of it so they can see what he has on tap, and then Huntley will take over the rest. I agree with you, though. Let's move on a little bit and talk some of the other positions. First of all, running back, one of the things that I really want to see is more out of Sampson.
Yeah.
He only had 2 touches, I think, in that first preseason game. I get it. You're not trying to get your back abused early, especially with what's going on with our other unsigned back. But I want to see what he can offer and how explosive he can be. And then, and I want to hear your thoughts on both these things. But news today, our pet KSU project that was Luke Floria has officially been released. So that is done. We talked about maybe seeing if we signed him to the practice squad kind of thing, but it sounds like we're just done with the Floria project.
Yeah, it does sound like we're done with the Floria project, and it's probably unfortunate because he's probably just going to go bounce around the UFL for a little bit after he heals up. Maybe he'll go to Columbus, and then we could still be fans and go to a game or something, get some content out of it. And then you mentioned Dylan Sampson as well. I agree in theory. I still don't think they're going to give him a lot of drive, so I want to see what he does with, max 3 drives in my mind. But on the offensive side, there's one player that comes to my mind that I thought was going to be a highlight of the Cleveland Browns in the last preseason game, and he didn't really do a whole lot, and that's Deontay Johnson. Now, he had
Mm.
limited minutes, but I think highly of this guy. Obviously, I think he is a great wide receiver. It's all about what's going on in between the ears. I want to see him go out there and ball out because there's no reason, despite him having an All Pro, a Pro Bowl selection before, there is no reason that he should be sandbagging the preseason right now because he's on his last leg in the NFL. So I want to see him ball out, even if that means Dillon Gabriel has to target him 52 times because he's the only receiver he can see over the line. Pause. That was petty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect there. I think all accounts is, I mean, he has the tool set to be a great wide receiver. He was a great wide receiver. He was a
Yeah.
1,000-yard receiver at Carolina. The question, like you said, it's all between the ears. So does he need to go out and prove himself on the field? I don't think so. I think he needs to be a steady locker room guy and not, be refusing to go play in the cold kind of situation. So I don't know that we need to see a lot from him in a preseason matchup. We
See,
know what he can do.
I disagree because he's not on that level anymore. He was 4 years ago. Deshaun Watson was also good 4 years ago. Would you say that he shouldn't play in a preseason game right now with the output he's put on the field the last couple of years?
I don't think he should play in a preseason game for other reasons. But I get what you're saying. Was it 4 years ago, though?
It was 21 or 22, dude. It was a pretty long time ago. He bounced around to
He was with
Carolina.
Carolina in 24, and that's when he was a 1,000-yard receiver.
No, he was not a 1,000-yard receiver with Carolina, was he?
Yeah, because he wasn't. He was with Pittsburgh from 19 to 23. By the way, wide receivers out there, if you want to destroy your career, go to
You're
Pittsburgh.
wrong. You're wrong. 2021 was his big year. He had 1,161 yards for Pittsburgh, followed that up with 882 for Pittsburgh, 717 for Pittsburgh,
You
and
know
then
what it
went to
was?
Carolina and caught 350 yards.
Carolina, I think he was on his way to that. Like he was looking really good for Carolina through the first, I want to say, 6 games, although I might be wrong on that. And then all the shit went downhill and he started bouncing around.
Yeah, he did. I do remember that he looked like he was going on a good trajectory.
My point is, he had the skills just a year ago.
So did Deshaun Watson, and
Not a year ago.
well, 2 years ago. If you want to look at the Ravens game, we're getting into semantics.
Now
I
we're-
won't. I won't get that deep. I don't think he has the right to sandbag it or not make some plays. I think he should play a couple drives, go out there and show that he deserves to be the second to third receiver on this team. Because right now, without the trade that you really desperately want, because you bring it up at least once an episode, he's gonna have that role. There's no one more talented than him on this roster.
We are bringing in a wide receiver. I'm telling you.
No, they're not. It's not a win now year. They
They're
have a
signing-
guy. They
I'm not
really
saying it's
believe in.
splashy or big, but they're signing somebody.
Eric, we're at the second preseason game, man. When's it happening?
Mark my words. They're signing a wide receiver.
I
All right.
will put. Let's put dumplings on it, dude.
Listen.
Wait, no.
No.
Put the money
Hold
where
on.
your
No,
mouth
it's
is.
nothing to do with the bet. What I was gonna say is we need to pause all bets because I can't remember them all, and we're not doing a very good job of writing them down.
Well, John's off the show now, so it doesn't matter in my book. I'm opening this up right now. I'm gonna put bets as the title. The first bet: Browns get a receiver before week 1. Shake, shake, shake.
I didn't say before week 1. I said they were gonna hire a guy. Let's say by week 4.
Browns add receiver.
Any receiver.
Any receiver, you're going to talk about them signing some practice squad guy and try
I
to
said
use
they're
him
going to
against-
sign a guy.
Okay, well, now we're
A receiver that will play in a game. How about that?
receiver that will play meaningful minutes in a game.
Sure.
Meaningful minutes in a game. Sorry to the viewers, I'm just typing this out right now. Shake,
One
shake, shake.
order of dumplings, shake, shake, shake.
Shout out LJ Shanghai. Let's get back to this preseason game that the Guardians. Jesus, I just got the notification we lost 13-4 tonight.
Oh
Let's
my
get
God,
back
they
to
added.
this. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
seeing some tweets about maybe it's time to pitch Austin Hedges like they do when we get blown out. Back to the Browns and Eagles preseason game, though. Did you see any of the headlines out of the first joint practice today? Because I got something I'm really excited for.
Well, you're really excited. Let's hear it.
The Cleveland Browns defense ate alive the Super Bowl champions. The Eagles offense was struggling all day. So what do I want to see in this game? I want to see this defense continue to be dominant. I want to see this secondary prove that they are a good secondary without Martin Emerson. And I want to see this D-line feast, whether it be the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the practice squad, the UFL team, the CFL team, you name it, I want them to eat on Saturday.
That reminds me, you need to write one more bet in that little bet book of yours.
Yep.
And that is with Tim, also dumplings, which since Tim's in Washington, it's going to just have to be a $10 Venmo kind of thing. But I said that the Browns would win more than 5 games. He said less than that. I think he has 5 or under. I have 5 or more. He has 4 or less, maybe. I don't
think
know.
it's either 5 or 6. So I just
Tim
wrote 5
confirmed that at some
6.
point. But my point is, this defense, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the feeling is. Maybe I'm a dumb Browns fan because I'm normally more pessimistic going into a season.
Yeah.
But I feel good for some reason.
Erik, we flipped roles, brother. I am feeling very pessimistic. Last year I was saying 17-0, even with all the red flags popping up. It was like a bad girlfriend. And now I'm just over it. And you're like, wait a second, we're gonna pull off some wins that we might not expect here.
Yeah, I don't know. When I look at the schedule, though, I go, maybe not, because it is a tough schedule. By the way,
6 games is a gauntlet, bro.
It's a gauntlet. Speaking of Sanders getting injured, I almost said interviewed. Kind of cool that he got a ride to the locker room by Jalen Hurts on the golf cart. I thought that was neat. Just something you don't see super often. Cornerback Miles Harden also had an interception.
Yeah, Hurts threw 3 picks at practice today. That's what I'm saying, man. It's looking deadly.
Yeah, I just didn't the Eagles have an O lineman go down too?
Yes, they did. It's like a day-to-day. He should be back by week 1, but yes, they are down an offensive lineman right now. Something I wanted to mention too, real quick. You brought up Shador, and I just thought about this. I know you had a very busy day at work. I was on the internet a little bit. I was also listening to sports talk as I do without my, typical working routine. And there were a lot of people, and myself too, I made a joke, I threw it out there, that were really upset without thinking about it that Tyler Huntley was getting reps before Shador Sanders. And a lot of the reporters were saying stuff like that too, like, I can't make this up. Why is Huntley in? And at first I was like, what are we doing? Did he do something stupid or something that the team views as stupid and this is punishment? And then I thought, no, the last time that this happened, he was hurt and he was day-to-day with the throwing shoulder stuff. Do you blame the overreaction at all, or do you think it's just a byproduct of the hype?
I think it's a byproduct of the hype a little bit. Here's the reality. Stefanski and co should be able to go out and run these practices as they see fit. We've talked about it. It's no indication of a final roster spot. It's no indication of how they feel on certain players. Yes, historically, you give certain guys certain reps, etc. Obviously, Flacco leading the offense indicates pretty well that he's going to be the guy in week 1, right?
Right.
But we're reading too much into it. I'm not saying we should have this as members of the media ourselves, but I almost wish more practices were closed because they take these storylines and they just run with it, make it a big news headline because they want clicks at the end of the day. I don't buy into that, honestly.
Yeah, I think it also gets a little complicated when you have a pre-practice presser. So of course Stefanski's talking about good rep share and not really talking about Shador not getting reps. So everybody's confused until we talk at the end of it. You know what I mean? When we talk at the end and the coach comes out and says what actually went down.
Yeah. What else looking forward to for the preseason game? We're not getting together for this one. Noah and I almost booked our trip to Philly to see it live and in color, and
Which
then
is
he backed out on me.
funny. One of my Eagles friends from college, I hit him up about coming over for the game once we decided it wasn't a feasible plan for a preseason game on a Saturday at 1 p.m., we being me, and said, dude, what if we went to the game? So I almost had another person trying to goat me into going to the game. But no, we won't be together. I want to hit on one last little thing that I hit on last
Well,
week
real quick
going into
before you
this
move
week.
on, I'll just say that look for us potentially in Philly later this year. I'm not counting out maybe a little road trip to a game where we could actually wear Philly gear and not get harassed the whole time.
I'm
Uh,
not wearing
you wouldn't
anything other
wear
than nope.
really?
Cleveland, period. Yeah, no.
I don't know,
You
traveling to
would?
another stadium when you're not playing the team. I don't have hate for Philly. I don't like them,
I just
but
would I'd wear a neutral outfit. Like when I went to the Bills Patriots game back that Snow Bowl where Mac Jones had like 100 yards, I just wore like blue and red gear because both teams wore blue and red. I didn't care. I was just there to watch football, man.
no, that's fair. I wouldn't mind putting on like a Hertz jersey though. Like that doesn't bother me.
I was a
Anyway,
believer in Hurts going into his NFL career. Last thing I want to get into though, Browns betting lines for this preseason game, and obviously we will grow upon this as there's more things to bet on in the NFL regular season. Erik and I have talked about doing head-to-head parlays and keeping a record and whatnot. We've mentioned that on the show before.
your bet
Browns,
hit, by the way. Let's update from last week real quick because your bet hit, mine didn't when it came to the
yes, my
Browns.
bet hit. Well, when we were talking about it on the show last, they didn't have any of the prop bets out for Shador yet. I did put money in for Shador to score 2 touchdowns, in which he did, and I won some money, which was
To throw,
awesome.
yeah. I had
Yeah,
Shador rushing for a touchdown. Guys, they're on like the 4 yard line. Perfect. First of all, why we're not rolling him out more anyway, we should be. But perfect opportunity. He didn't do it. Lost me. Well, it was $10, but I think he would have paid like 150 or something like that.
right. Getting into the lines, the Browns, if you take a money line straight up, right now they are at plus 172. They are getting 3.5 points, meaning Eagles are 3.5 point favorites. The best odds bet that I could find as of right now is Browns plus 950 to win by 14 plus. There were lines, like I said, that came out for Shador Sanders last week. I wonder if they're going to do the same for Dillon Gabriel this week,
Two
solely
plus
because
picks.
2+ picks is crazy. I wonder if they are going to come out with something for Dillon Gabriel this week, just because I'm assuming they did a lot of really good money off of the last preseason
Well,
game.
once they name him, yeah, they just can't put it in because he's not named a
Right.
starter, you know?
Right. So we'll see. But as of right now, that's what we got in terms of the betting landscape. It seems like right now the odds are best on FanDuel over DraftKings. Keep an eye out, play the best book, gamble responsibly.